He wasn't loud, he wasn't famous, he wasn't the kind of person you noticed in a room. He grew up in silence, moved through life quietly, and disappeared into crowds without effort. No spotlight, no audience, no stage, just a name most people never learned, on a platform almost everyone on earth would one day use. Before the world argued about views, algorithms, creators, or influence, there was just a quiet kid who hated the fact that video on the internet was almost impossible to share. He didn't want popularity. He wanted functionality. Most people never understood that difference. Most still don't. But the world doesn't always change because of the loudest voice in it. Sometimes it changes because of the quietest one. And in 2005, that quiet voice had a name: Jawed Karim. He didn't start in Silicon Valley. He started as an immigrant kid in Europe, caught between cultures, speaking softly in languages that never felt fully his. His family left East Germany, moved again to the United States, and every move made him a little quieter, a little more observant, and a little more invisible. Schools reward confidence. Jawed brought silence. He wasn't the loudest in class, or the funniest, or the one teachers remembered. He was the one reading manuals, taking apart computers, and disappearing into code long before anyone realized that code would define the next century. While other kids learned how to socialize, he learned how the internet worked, how information flowed, how systems connected, and how machines communicated when humans couldn't. He didn't grow up trying to be liked. He grew up trying to understand. Understanding became his currency in a world that favored volume over depth. But depth has a way of aging well, especially in a world no one fully understands. And by the time he reached college, the quiet kid with no presence had become the quiet man with a map of the internet in his head. Silicon Valley didn't care about personality. It cared about talent, and PayPal, in its first chaotic years, was full of both. Karim joined as an engineer, not the visionary, not the executive, not the face of the company. Just a quiet builder surrounded by loud ambition. While others argued about strategy, funding, and the future of online payments, he wrote code that made the product work. He helped design fraud systems, anti-scam measures, and the invisible plumbing that allowed strangers to send money over the internet without getting robbed. PayPal became a battlefield. Smart people fighting over smarter ideas, engineers racing against hackers, managers surviving mergers, and egos colliding in every hallway. Karim wasn't part of the fight. He was part of the infrastructure. He didn't win arguments. He made arguments irrelevant by building things that solved the problem. And when PayPal finally survived long enough to be acquired by eBay, the world celebrated the loud names: Musk, Thiel, Levchin, the founders who shaped a generation. Nobody mentioned the quiet engineer whose systems kept the platform from collapsing under fraud. But history has a blind spot for quiet people. It wasn't new to him. He had been invisible his entire life. The PayPal exit made some employees rich. It made others famous. It made Jawed Karim free. Free to build something else. Free to solve a problem nobody else could see. Free to take the internet from text and images to something far more human. In 2004, the internet was efficient at words and images, but terrible at memory. You could email text, you could download photos, but if you wanted to share a video, you entered a maze of broken codecs, failed uploads, and software that treated every file like a puzzle it didn't want to solve. Karim noticed the gap the way quiet people notice everything, by trying to use a system that clearly didn't work. There was no platform for video. There was no standard for playback. There was no simple link you could send to a friend and say, "Watch this." He searched for clips of a news story. They were impossible to find. He tried to share videos from his own computer. They were impossible to open. The internet could move money. It could move data, but it could not move moments. So he brought the problem to two former colleagues, Chad Hurley and Steve Chen, designers and engineers from the same PayPal chaos. They weren't looking to change the world. At first, they were just looking for a product that didn't exist yet. The idea was simple: a website where anyone could upload a video and anyone else could watch it from any device without installing anything. No software, no downloads, no complexity, just a link. In a valley obsessed with grand visions, the quietest idea in the room was simply convenience. Most people laughed at it. Video was too expensive. Bandwidth was too slow. Storage was too costly. Users didn't care. But the internet doesn't move forward because the present approves. It moves forward because someone builds for the future before the future arrives. And in February 2005, the future got a name: YouTube. The launch was small: a plain website, a logo drawn by a designer, and an upload button that didn't always work. There were no influencers, no thumbnails, no content strategy, just an empty platform waiting for strangers who didn't yet exist. Most startups explode with energy. YouTube began with silence. Days went by with no uploads. Weeks went by with no audience. Servers sat idle, cooling fans humming in empty rooms. Investors didn't understand the point. Users didn't understand the purpose. Even engineers questioned the scale. But quiet problems attract quiet solutions. The first video wasn't a pitch or a demo or a marketing stunt. It was Jawed at the Zoo, a 19-second clip shot with no script, no lighting, no plan. Just a quiet kid standing in front of elephants explaining nothing in particular. No cinematic vision, no viral hook, just proof that uploading worked. Me at the Zoo didn't break the internet. It confirmed the internet was ready. More videos followed: party clips, pet clips, tutorials, ordinary moments that had nowhere else to live. The platform didn't need celebrities. It needed possibility. And for the first time, the internet could watch itself. Growth didn't come from marketing. It came from links. Users copied YouTube URLs into emails, into blogs, into forums, and into a rising social network called MySpace. Videos traveled faster than explanations. People didn't ask what YouTube was. They just clicked. Embedded players spread across the web, turning static pages into moving pictures without permission from television networks or film studios. The internet had never seen anything like it. A platform expanding culture, not corporate partnerships. And while the world debated whether video belonged online, millions of strangers quietly proved that it did. Traffic surged. Uploads exploded. Servers strained. Investors reconsidered. What began as a convenience became a behavior. What began as a behavior became an ecosystem. And somewhere in the middle of that transformation, Jawed Karim stepped back. He wasn't the CEO. He wasn't the spokesperson. He wasn't the pitch man in boardrooms. He was the quiet founder who built the thing everyone now needed, then disappeared before anyone asked for photos. When YouTube was acquired by Google in 2006, headlines celebrated the deal. The price, the future of online video. Jawed Karim stood on stage for a few seconds, said almost nothing, and left. No victory speech, no spotlight, no performance. Just a quiet man watching the internet shift into a new shape that he helped create. Jawed Karim never chased fame. He never tried to become a face of an industry, or a voice of a movement, or a personality for the camera. He built the camera. And in a world obsessed with visibility, he proved that invisibility can be just as powerful. While others fought for attention, he created the platform where attention now lives. While television networks negotiated rights, he gave the world a URL. While media companies debated the future, he uploaded a zoo clip and let the future arrive by itself. He didn't become an influencer. He built the place where influencers exist. He didn't become a celebrity. He built the system that manufactures them. He didn't become legendary for being loud. He became essential by being useful. And that's the paradox of Jawed Karim. The man who changed how the world watches itself did so quietly, in the background, without applause. Most people will never know his name. They don't have to. His work speaks every time a video loads, every time a link is shared, every time a stranger uploads a moment that would have disappeared without him. The quiet kid with no presence left behind, a platform with billions of voices. A platform born from silence, built for expression, and carried into history by a man almost nobody saw. There are more stories like this, people without volume, without visibility, who changed the world quietly while nobody was looking.